Hello, everybody in the DC Nation, and welcome to Wine Whisperer. As you know, I am available as the education director, wine director of Direct Sellers to answer questions that you might have. And sometimes people email me at winewhisperer@directsellers.com, ask me questions directly. Sometimes they call the member service number and ask questions there. So they pass the questions along to me. And recently, we've gotten a lot of questions about what's the proper temperature to serve wine. And that's a really good question because temperature has a lot to do with how the wine tastes and how you perceive it and how you enjoy it. If it's too warm, not so good. If it's too cold, it masks the flavor. You lose all flavor. So basically, just very, very briefly, generally wine is stored at, if you go into a wine cellar or a commercial cellar or a wine storage facility in a restaurant, you'll find that wine is stored for long-term storage at about 55 degrees and 70% humidity. 55 degrees is kind of the magic number because in the cellars in the great chateaus in Bordeaux and in France and Italy and places like that, where they actually have cellars under the ground, the temperature down there is about 55 degrees, and wine seems to last the longest and stay in the best condition at that temperature. There's also a humidity factor. Humidity in wine cellars is generally around 70%. I have a wine cellar in my house, humidity 70%, because it keeps the corks moist and keeps them from drying out so that the cork doesn't leak, wine doesn't get air into it and spoil. So 55 degrees, 70% is a temperature that you're going to want to store wine over a long period of time. Now, if you don't have a wine cellar in your house or a wine refrigerator, that's fine. As long as you keep the wine at a constant temperature and don't submit it to big changes in temperature, like it gets real hot and real cold. If it stays at a constant temperature, even if it's at 75 degrees or 74 degrees in an air-conditioned house or apartment, you're okay. The three biggest enemies of wine, the three things that will spoil it more quickly than anything, is heat, light, and vibration. So you want to keep the temperature constant, even if it's a little warm. You want to keep it away from light, keep it in the box, keep it in the bottom of your closet, someplace like that. When you serve it, white wines need to be served a little bit warmer than refrigerator. You want to serve them right around, refrigerators are generally 42 degrees. You want to serve them right around 50 degrees. So if you've got white wine in the refrigerator, take it out maybe an hour before you go to serve it, and serve it cool but not real cold. One thing you can do, and this is a trick I learned, if your white wine is room temperature, take your wine glass, put about 4 or 5 cubes of ice in it. I'm not saying you should drink wine over ice. You should not do that. But you put 4 or 5 cubes in it, get yourself a big spoon. Pour the white wine in over the ice and immediately take the ice cubes out. Your wine will be at the proper temperature, and that's a real quick way to get white wine at the proper temperature. Red wine needs to be around 62, 63 degrees. So if it's been stored at 55, you're going to take it out, leave it out for about an hour or two. You don't want to drink it right out of the refrigerator because that's too cold. It won't have any flavor at all. So white wines right around 50 degrees. Like I say, the ice cube trick really works as long as you take the ice cubes out of the glass immediately after you pour the wine, so it does not water down. It'll just cool it down really nicely. We do it at home all the time. And red wines at about 62, 63 degrees, cool but not cold. That's about what you need to do to serve your wine at the proper temperature so that you can enjoy it and appreciate it to the fullest degree. I'm Jerry Greenfield, the Wine Whisperer. Here's to you.